this is ready. I don't know.
I didn't take my agenda with me. This is all I remembered.
Rick, are you all set for us? Okay.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Montclair Historic Preservation Commission, December 20th, 2018. The call to order. This meeting has been publicized in the Star Ledger, the Montclair Times, and a notice of it has been posted in the municipal building. Roll call. Mr. Petto.
Chair Bennett?
Here.
Vice Chair Hyman is absent at this time, but we are expecting him. Mr. Greenbell?
Here.
Mr. Rooney?
Here.
Ms. Kane-Levy?
Here.
Mr. Reimnitz?
Here.
And Ms. Gillette is excused this evening. Mr. Connolly?
Here.
And Mr. Angelo?
Here.
Okay, thank you. Approval of minutes. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes from November 29th? Are there any corrections?
I think the only correction is you've got me coming in at 8:05, and I think it was Jenny that came in at 8:05.
Oh. You were here, right?
I was here.
Oh, okay. That's what okay.
Yeah, I sit there and look back. I'm very seldom late.
All right. So Ms. Gillette arrived at 8:05.
Right.
If you could correct that. Any other comments, corrections?
Yeah, there was regarding the referral. Wait a second. The Crescent shops.
Yes.
The conditions.
Yes.
Where am I seeing the conditions now?
Maybe that's on the resolution?
Yeah. Oh, it was the resolution.
Yeah.
Right.
Not on the
Yes,
minutes.
It's not in the minutes. Okay, it's in the resolution.
Okay. Let the record note that Mr. Hyman has arrived at 7:40. So, getting back to the minutes. May I have a motion to accept the minutes?
I make a motion to accept.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have passed the minutes. We'll go into committee reports. Oops. So the first one is the Design Review and Redevelopment Committee. Has anyone, any action on that?
There's nothing for the development review because it was canceled.
Okay.
What happened to the final situation on the garage facade, the materials? Was that finalized?
It hasn't been, nothing's been, on the outside of the building.
Yeah.
They have to come back.
Oh, okay. I just didn't know.
Because we went out in the field and talked about it, and things weren't matching, so.
Okay.
Anything else? Any more questions?
Mm-mm.
Education and outreach. Oh, that's me. We have a date for the collaboration lesson with Montclair State University, which will be at the library. That will be on February 4th. It's in the afternoon. I believe it's about 4 o'clock. And that will focus on Pine Street and Pine Street Historic District, specifically Mount Carmel Guild. So, not the Guild, Mount Carmel Church. And we will be looking at similar to what we do with the Researching Your Home workshop. So if anyone is here and would like to come.
If I can do it, I'd like to come.
Okay, write it on your schedule.
What
The 4th.
February 4th. And Dr. Matthews has 14 MSU students. So I think that would be a good collaboration.
Just to note, one additional item to note is I was contacted by a representative from the Italian program at Montclair State to use some of our interactive map components in an interactive map that they're developing.
Oh,
Good.
So just so everybody knows, we're going to share some data and give them a hand in getting some things set up.
is this separate from?
I think this is separate from
Right,
Dr.
because the
Matthews.
That's the Insera chair.
Yeah, right.
All right,
So I don't
that's
know.
separate from-
I'll find the contact info and I can share that.
Okay, all right, that would be great.
So just to let everybody know that there's other outreach things that are happening too. So.
Okay. All right, so the second thing for outreach is that I'm still working on the poster. I haven't had a chance to finish that yet, so hopefully we'll do that in January. Hopefully everyone will be here, and hopefully we can all take our picture together.
Okay.
I have a question about the 150-year celebration,
and just wondering why the HPC wasn't included in that gala and what was going on.
Oh, in the gala?
I was just surprised to see all sorts of stuff going on and that the HPC, well, maybe it was, I don't know.
No, we weren't contacted specifically for it. The idea in the beginning, which was when in the summer, I think we had spoken about it, or April, I think, is when they started their celebration, and it's a year, it's 12 months. And the idea that we came up with was the poster, to have this poster and then have all of us photographed with
Okay.
it. But do you have another idea?
The other question is why we weren't invited.
Well, I saw you mean, now you're talking specifically about the gala, which was at the Pig and Prince. They didn't send out individual invitations. I just happened to see it because I'm always on the interactive map. I happened to see that they had a notice there, and it was after our meeting, so.
I just find it odd, that's all.
Yes.
We're
And then,
celebrating 150 years of history, and the Historic Preservation Commission is not. But, hey,
It was advertised?
it was publicized? Oh.
And- and
That's why
I,
I didn't go.
75, oh,
yeah, and when I bought my ticket.
okay, thank you.
I actually
Appreciate that.
asked it,
Thank you.
no, when I bought my ticket, I asked at the Department of Recreation, and they said that they had sent the invitation to all the department chairs. So I called up my contact in our department, and it was supposedly went through the, I guess, the clerk. But no, the only reason I saw it was because I went on the map. So, but, there was a broad invitation. It just wasn't
I didn't even know that.
disseminated.
Wasn't published.
It just wasn't publicized to all the committees,
I
right?
think I saw something about it someplace, but I saw
Well,
the
but
70, I saw
it's
the
duly noted,
$75.
duly noted, and then, exactly,
Move on.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
right.
Okay, sorry.
So, anything else for outreach and education? I don't think so. Landmark Nomination Committee, unfortunately, we haven't heard anything from Mr. McCabe about the extension for the Bloomfield Avenue. Have you had any information from
I've
him?
not, so.
No, so, being that the grant ends as of December 30th.
It's not a grant, that was allocated funds.
I mean allocated funds, so being that it ends, that we won't be able to continue that for next
Correct.
year.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's noted.
I guess just a further update about, I know we updated briefly at the last meeting, but just for the benefit of everybody, because last meeting might have forgotten, we were notified that we received the 2018 Certified Local Government Grant in aid for about $25,000 to do a study of the Wheeler Street and Oak Croft residential areas. It's not direct CLG funds that were awarded to us, but it's other money that the state had available specifically to Essex County communities. So we have received that grant award amount. So we're going to proceed with meeting with SHPO in the new year to set up that process and then hire a consultant to conduct that survey work. And then secondly, we're working on the 2019 Certified Local Government Grant and Aid. So that will be filed, and Kathleen and I, so the 2018 application included the estate section, Oak Croft, and the Wheeler Street areas. SHPO said that they didn't select us right off the bat because it was too many, so they had us winnow it down. So we're going to be putting forward the estate section in the 2019 grant round application. And just for everybody's benefit, that it's going before the council for a resolution early in January, because the council resolution has to accompany the grant down to Trenton. So
And when is the deadline for that
the
grant?
application deadline is January 19th. So I'm
Right.
letting everybody know because this is all going to happen before our next meeting
Right.
on the January 20th.
And what is, the monies are for a study to be done?
Yes, correct. It's to study each of these areas to determine eligibility for listing as a local landmark district in preparation of a nomination report.
It's they're all 3 residential districts,
Right,
which
right,
would be the
Right,
first in
we've never
Montclair.
done one.
Pardon me?
We haven't done a
No,
residential.
we haven't done, there are none.
Oh, that's great.
Minor applications review.
I've been emailing everyone.
The photos from 200
Mhm.
Bloomfield Avenue, they're making progress, and It's looking really great. The terracotta guy is very great to work with, and I go in without trying to design or do anything, but nudge them in the right direction. And so far, so good. It's looking good.
Are they going to be like applying a stain on site?
It's Edison. It's Edison Coatings, like what we saw. It's that company we saw at the historic. What was that?
Patterson?
Patterson.
Yeah.
That was one of the companies that were there, and it's actually many layers of those coatings because it has a little stipple pattern in it, and the base is also a slightly different color. So they're going to try to match it very closely.
Are they attempting to photograph it or to?
I've been photographing it as
Great.
we've been going along, so they're not doing any work there now until after the first of the year. They got as far as they could get for now.
Okay, thanks, John.
Yeah.
Revisions Committee. Nothing to report.
Nothing to report.
Okay, and then our latest committee, which is the Applications Committee. Caroline and Jenny have been working on updating our application process, and they put together some information. Do you want to briefly, just within?
Sure. Well, what I did was try to analyze how our meetings are run, how it's different than they're run at the New York City Landmarks Commission. So I put together a memo, a letter, with some ideas on how we can learn from the New York City Commission, which processes so many applications every year.
In a timely fashion.
Yes.
So my suggestion would be that perhaps you and Jenny could meet with Graham and Mr. Conley at some point, and then come up with a more formal report for January.
Okay.
Okay? Great, thanks a lot. I know it's a lot of work. Moving on, old business, we have none old business. New business. Draft ordinance amending development application referral to the HPC. And I'll turn it over to Mr. Petto.
Sure.
And he can explain.
Okay.
It's in your packet.
Yes, everybody got a copy of this proposed draft ordinance. So just to note the nexus of this is internal staff developed draft ordinance. And this is essentially to codify what we have kind of been doing administratively already for the HPC. In 2016, the master plan element, the historic preservation master plan element, was adopted to be inclusive of a significant number of additional properties, as you're all well aware. And that has led to an increase in the number of referral applications that we've had here at the Historic Preservation Commission for properties in those areas. Currently, what we have been doing administratively is not referring applications that don't necessarily have a direct impact, not visible from the public, other changes to interiors or uses that aren't necessarily, if we referred everything, we'd be really, really busy. So we aren't referring garages in the backyard that need a side yard setback variance, for example, that's not visible from the street. We haven't referred some use variances that involve a change of use and no exterior modifications to a building. So essentially what this draft ordinance does is insert that clarifying language to define the types of applications that get referred here to the HPC. And all we've done is lift the exact wording from the Certificate of Appropriateness section, those actions that require issuance of a Certificate of Appropriateness, and inserted them into the referral process. So anything that would require a Certificate of Appropriateness, if any of that type of work is done as part of a development application, it would appear here. This is just a way to administratively put into practice and codify what we are already doing administratively. It's more so to put it on the books so it's not up to me to be so subjective. So me and the rest of the staff in the office.
Do you have any questions?
Happy to answer any questions that anybody may
Yes.
have. So.
Any questions, Mr. Rebo? No? No? No. And do we make a motion for this tonight? Because it will go, the process will be
Yeah, so
that
the
it's
process
a change
is that
in ordinance, so it
it's an
goes to the
ordinance change. This
council.
would go to the council. The council most likely will then refer it to the planning board for advisory input, and the planning board will issue a report back to the council on their thoughts on this. So.
Okay. So if conceivably, could this go before the council at their next meeting?
It's possible. I'm not sure how the agenda setting is going to go, given the holiday. The first meeting of the council is January 8th, so the agenda will be set over the holiday, so I'm not sure where things are. But as soon as we have it, I'll be sure to transmit it up to the appropriate folks to see when we can get on the agenda.
Okay, so we'll make a motion. Would anyone like to?
Make a motion to accept?
As written?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Graham. So you will put this together, send it up to the council?
The
and-
clerk and the manager's
The clerk and the
office.
manager, and then see where it will be.
Again, as soon as I'm aware of when it will be listed for, typically it'll be just be introduced, and then the second reading of the ordinance will be the public hearing when you can testify or public comment on the planning ordinance change.
Okay, because we've
But-
already done an ordinance change.
Correct, yeah, so but first it'll get introduced, and following the introduction, they'll refer it to the planning board most likely to seek input before they go through the three-phase for adoption.
Great, okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you all.
Okay, our second order of new business is a referral from the Board of Adjustment application, 2588, 14 Undercliff Road, 12 Undercliff to 14 Undercliff, I think it should say.
It's 14 Undercliff and 172 Lloyd.
Oh, okay, that's not in here. It's a new dwelling requiring rear yard setback variance in the Mountainside Zone District, Estate Area Potential Historic District. And this application has, the applicant is requested to carry this matter to the next meeting, January 24th, 2019 of the HPC. So we
Correct.
will not be hearing that tonight. And so everyone should keep their material.
Yes.
And if anything new comes through, you'll send it to us in the next
Yes, if there's
packet.
any revised plans, I'll be sure to transmit those to the
I
commissioner.
still, if there's a way I can get a package.
Yes, of course. Yeah, I have it set here that you can just take.
Okay.
Okay, and then our third order, or our third number for new business is the redevelopment, the grant that Mary Krugman undertook for the redevelopment and how redevelopment projects impact historic districts in Montclair. So we met, Mary, Steve, myself, and Graham met a few days back, and, she explained to us what she had done. Could you fill us in a little bit further on that?
Yeah, so, well, I guess just procedurally. So Ms. Krugman has prepared a report consistent with the request of the commission to study the existing redevelopment zone, the redevelopment areas that have been adopted in the township and their impact on historic resources. She's produced an initial draft that Mr. Rooney and Ms. Bennett sat in and reviewed with Ms. Krugman on Tuesday of this week. During that review process, the HPC commissioners provided some initial input and feedback, recommended incorporation of 2 additional recommendations into the report, and some other textual modifications to the first 21 pages of the document are really the executive summary and a brief review of each of the plan areas. Ms. Krugman is going to incorporate those suggested changes and modifications, and then she'll issue her final full report prior to the end of this calendar year, which is required because our funding lapses December 31st, so she has to conclude all her work by then. And unfortunately, Ms. Krugman couldn't be here this evening to conduct her presentation, so we will work to have her scheduled for our January meeting, and she'll give a presentation and review her report in detail for the commission.
And you'll send a copy of her draft, her
Yes,
final
well,
draft.
the final draft as soon as
to
it's
everybody. So
correct,
everybody,
correct.
please read it beforehand so that you'll be able to, because it's.
And just for the benefit of everyone, I'll send an updated of the kind of first 20 pages, that executive summary as I detailed. The subsequent pages, there's a significant series of indices that include a matrix document for each of the redevelopment plans that include photos, descriptions, maps, their landscape with tables and charts. It's a whole number of pages to save up trees. We won't be printing all of that, but that'll be electronically distributed to everybody for review. So,
It'd be great to get the entire thing
yes.
electronically.
It's substantial.
Yeah,
Yes.
really.
Yeah.
I read this carefully, and I found just some language errors here. Should I
Okay.
pass that along
If
to
you'd
you?
like, you
aside?
can certainly provide those to me, and I'll pass them over to Ms. Krugman, and we can get those
Okay.
addressed in the final
Okay.
version.
And I
I'll
need
do
to get
that
a
at the end of the
I need
meeting
a
now.
copy of that.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you, Graham. Now, is there any public here that would like to make public comment?
Oh,
No?
come on.
Okay.
Don't all get up at once.
Okay, thank you. Now we're on to our resolution. Resolution, the HPC Certificate of Appropriateness, application 2018-54, the Crescent Shops LLC, 18-30 South Fullerton Avenue. It's a storefront replacement in the Town Center Historic District, which we reviewed last meeting. Everyone should have a copy of the resolution that Graham provided in the packet. Are there any corrections on this resolution?
Well, just the point number 9 about the awnings. I think we agreed that it would have a loose skirt with a weighted,
Loose skirt,
an unframed skirt.
unframed skirt.
Oh, autumn. Yes, that was
Okay.
something that we said.
But they're going to have to come back anyway, so.
But we can, so would you like just at the end of that to say, comma, with a loose skirt? I don't know, how do you
Final
wanna-
section of awning framing and material.
We could say, the awning framing, comma, depicting a loose skirt, as well as selection of final material,
Mhm.
Yeah.
if that's acceptable.
I guess so, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, thank you, Caroline. So, someone make any motion to accept the resolution?
Make a motion to accept with the changes.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So this resolution is passed, and it's been noted that number 9 for the recommendations, as the sentence has been changed to include loose skirt. Okay. Thank you. So,
That's
Does that
it.
work for you, Joe?
Very much.
wait.
Yeah, I know.
Well, we have to-
We need a
There's something
motion,
else on the agenda.
we need a motion to adjourn.
I move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
9:30?